This story is living proof of how one determined idea can transform a small company into a multi-billion-dollar international powerhouse. XCMG overcame countless hurdles to rise from a modest construction machinery business in China to dominate the industry globally. They didn't just stop at survival, they thrived, expanding to over 130 countries, landing huge contracts like a $750 million deal with Venezuela, and even acquiring one of Germany's top machinery companies. And here is how they did it. In 1943, XCMG started with nothing more than a simple vision, a desire to build a company that could uplift China's national industry. It was born during difficult times for China's industrial sector. With such fierce, intense economic pressures, resources were scarce, and undeveloped markets and competition from better established global players seemed impossible to conquer. Still, the company did not back down and stay still. It took its fate into its own hands, determined to carve out a place for itself. In the 1950s, the construction machinery industry in China had never been what anyone would describe as glamorous. It was gritty, and tough foreign giants dominated it and had perfected the craft. It was still in its infancy and had to face all of these challenges head-on. They were not just competing with big names, but against an economic backdrop that so often seemed unforgiving. Government policies changed day in and day out, infrastructure projects were few and far between, and every step forward was matched with how much effort it took to move a boulder up. But this is where the company caught inattention in the mess. Their mission cut across to become the backbone of infrastructure development in China and help the nation build a future by giving it all the tools it needed. It wasn't easy though. There were infinite setbacks, projects that were failures, equipment that didn't meet international standards, and a whole workforce to be trained from scratch. Little did the market within which XCMG first tried to establish itself even know it existed. It went brutal, with many in the industry questioning whether it would even survive. What was different was this company, however, was that it simply refused to stay down. By 1951, its dogged attention to craftsmanship and innate drive to push the boundaries of innovation slowly began to mark it out from among others. Every failure taught something new. Every minor success provided more fuel for the fire. It was incredible to see the resilience of the leadership and staff. They felt that something great would take time to build, and there was no shortcut to success. Building this hard work, suffering mentality for long-term success inducted into the company's DNA. It wasn't uncommon for workers to put in grueling hours and sacrifice personal time just to see the completion of a project. The factories were definitely not those modern and high-tech kinds that you imagine today. They were rough around the edges. Sometimes they were forced to work with outdated equipment and production problems that would have put many companies out of business. Yet the small company persisted, knowing deep in the back of their mind that it was efforts like these which would one day pay off. By 1973, that belief started to become a reality when the company began expanding its product range and improving the quality of its machinery. Slowly but surely, they earned the trust of domestic clients, but it wasn't enough just to serve the national market. They eyed something much bigger, the global stage. However, at that point, it seemed like just a dream to most people that a Chinese construction machinery brand could compete at the global level. Foreign companies had essentially strangled the market, but the business saw an opening. It recognized that if it were to hold on with enough persistence and innovation, it could bridge the quality gap and provide machinery that wasn't just reliable, but also competitively priced. It was building very slowly, but it was beginning to take form. By the early 2000s, with XCMG emerging as an up-and-comer in its core market, survival stood ready to meet the next step: growth. In parallel, though, the company saw no reason to stay rested on laurels of regional competition. They realized it was not possible to gain significant strength within construction machinery without investment in both technology and its workforce. It knew that this was the only way to hold shoulder to shoulder with global giants, to innovate without rest. It poured money into research and development, not to enhance its machinery, but to create a new industry altogether. The most critical turning point for them was its commitment to technology. It didn't wait for trends. Instead, it had resolved to make machinery that would be better than what others have. From 2002, their machines would start sporting state-of-the-art innovations in hydraulics, automation, and digital control systems, giving them not only the role but also powerful solutions for the construction sector around the globe. With improvement in their technology, the workforce became equally important to this aspect. The company realized that machines were only as good as the men behind them. The company heavily invested in training programs that their engineers and technicians would rank amongst the best globally. Skilled labor comprised the backbone of success for it, where all workers contributed to the company's mission of excellence. From small outfits to large machines, thousands of employees joined hands with just one common goal: to take XCMG to the pinnacle. This technology and workforce development focus brought with it a series of breakthroughs that placed the company as a prime player in the global construction machinery industry. One of its most significant innovations came in 2002. Various advanced cranes and excavators for all sorts of tough jobs in extreme conditions. These weren't just basic machines, they were highly specialized and built to perform with precision and reliability in construction sites around the world. Their ability to create a full range of construction solutions sets them apart from many of their competitors. As they gained momentum, indications were that for them to be at the same table with other big names in the construction machinery world, it had to go beyond China's borders. Their approach to globalization was not short of being ambitious, with a start point into key markets such as Brazil, India, and South Africa. These were not random choices. These were places where demand for building machinery was truly rising and where it could make a splash. To make that dream come true, they invested $600 million in overseas factory construction to pave the way for direct presence in those markets. When it established production facilities in countries like Brazil in 2004, the company was well set to produce locally within those countries. Besides the reduction in shipment costs, this helped them in adapting their products to the needs of the locality. This gave them an edge over the competition, which was shipping products from halfway around the world. They did the same thing in India and South Africa, where they built factories that would become key centers of operation for their companies. Each factory was not only a source of manufacturing, but a commitment to long life in each of these regions. By so doing, they can tap into the local talent and supply chains, making them even more agile and responsive to meet the needs of international clients. Their expansion wasn't just limited to building factories, though. The business was aggressively pursuing large-scale contracts across the globe, and one of their biggest victories came in 2011 with Venezuela. In April of that year, it secured a massive order valued at $750 million. And this wasn't just any order, it was one of the largest in the company's history and a clear signal that they were no longer just a rising star, but a serious contender on the global stage. This order allowed it to showcase its products on a massive scale, and it solidified their reputation as a reliable and innovative provider of construction machinery. Securing such a deal wasn't easy, but they had built a strong reputation by this point, and their ability to deliver top-tier equipment was paying off. This success was not isolated. XCMG's presence on the global stage became more prominent with each passing year. Their machinery wasn't just sold in 130 countries by chance. It was a result of calculated moves, from factory investments to securing high-profile contracts. They understood that to truly break into these markets, they needed to be visible. That's why they made sure to have a significant presence at world-renowned exhibitions like bauma in Germany and ConExpo in Las Vegas. These exhibitions were more than just trade shows. They were battlegrounds where the biggest names in the industry showed off their best machinery. And they didn't just participate, they stood out. In 2012, bauma, one of the largest construction machinery exhibitions in the world, was the perfect stage for the company to flex its muscles. With thousands of industry professionals in attendance, XCMG's presence there was a statement that they were no longer a small local player, but a serious global contender. The same went for ConExpo in Las Vegas, where the world construction elite gathered. Its machinery was front and center, proving that their equipment could compete with the best that the world had to offer. This global expansion wasn't without its challenges. Breaking into new markets always comes with hurdles, from regulatory issues to local competition. But their strategy was clear. They would enter these markets with the best machinery and the right partnerships. Their commitment to building factories in key regions and securing large contracts was only the beginning. By the time they were showcasing their products at the biggest exhibitions in the world, they had already cemented their status as a global powerhouse.
Hey, I'm popping in really quick. My name is William. I run the channel here at Extreme Force. I also run a premium merino wool sock brand for trade workers called Camel City Mill. Now, we offer 3 lengths. These socks are perfect. We have the boot cut, the crew, and the ankle. These socks are perfect if you struggle with sweaty feet, if you're on your feet for 12, 14 hours a day, if you work in the trades, anything where any hard work is necessary, then you need our socks. And there are 3 main reasons why. Reason number 1 is if you struggle with sweaty, stinky feet, using a merino wool sock, that's gonna help you tremendously. Number 2, we don't use any merino wool. We use a special proprietary yarn called Ironside merino wool. The way we kind of spin that together, it makes our socks twice as durable compared to regular merino wool. Here's an example where I'm picking up a 15-pound kettlebell with a single thread of our Ironside merino wool. Not only that, but we also do double-plated nylon fortification in the toe and in the heel. This makes our socks so durable that we offer a 10-year durability guarantee. So that means if you get a hole in your socks within the first 10 years, no joke, you can send them back to us. We'll give you a brand new pair completely free. The third thing you're gonna love about these socks is that they are 100% USA made. So our factory is in North Carolina, the wool's in North Carolina. We're a North Carolina company. We're really proud about that. North Carolina is the hosiery sock capital of the United States. We're right there, we're epicenter. So if you like American-made products, if you like an American-made pair of socks, it has a 10-year durability guarantee that will give you dry, comfortable feet, even if you're working a 14-hour shift in 100-degree weather. Make that feel like easy mode. If you want a pair of these socks right now, use the link down in the description below. We'll hook you up. Thank you again for watching Extreme Force. Now let's get back to the video.
At the heart of its success was an unwavering commitment to technology. They knew that without cutting-edge machinery and innovation, their global ambitions would only be a dream. So they put technology front and center, building advanced manufacturing systems that not only improved efficiency, but also allowed them to compete with some of the biggest names in the industry. In China by 2014, its factories became showcases of modern industrial power. These weren't just any production lines, they were state-of-the-art facilities designed to produce machinery with precision and reliability. XCMG poured significant resources into developing these systems, knowing that if they wanted to keep up with and eventually surpass their competition, they needed to manufacture their equipment at the highest standards. These modernized factories became the backbone of their operations, giving them the capacity to meet growing demand both at home and abroad. The company's focus on innovation didn't stop at manufacturing. XCMG understood that research and development were just as critical. Since then, they have invested heavily in building research centers across China and even abroad, creating hubs of technological advancement where engineers and designers could push the limits of what construction machinery could do. These centers weren't just about tweaking existing products, they were about reinventing the way things were built. With a national technical center and the industry's first postdoctoral research workstation, it was able to tap into the brightest minds and most advanced technologies available. And this is where their commitment to innovation became a defining feature of the company. One of the most significant moves the company made in its technological ascent was its acquisition of Schwing in 2012, a German leader in concrete machinery. This wasn't just any partnership either, it was a game changer. Schwing was a global icon in the concrete machinery sector, and by bringing it under XCMG's wing, the company dramatically expanded its technological capabilities and international footprint. The deal marked a major turning point for them, showcasing their intent to dominate the global market. By acquiring Schwing, they didn't just gain cutting-edge technology, they also gained access to Western markets, knowledge, and expertise that further bolstered their standing in the global construction machinery arena. XCMG's thirst for technological superiority didn't stop there. Through 2016 and beyond, continued investing in research, pushing the boundaries of innovation, the company built a hydraulic and transmission high-end technical center in Europe. The planning for that had started in the early 2000s and was executed later, strategically placing themselves at the forefront of groundbreaking developments in the industry. And this wasn't just about keeping up, it was about leading the pack. Their ability to consistently introduce advanced machinery and improve upon it by its existing products, earning them multiple prestigious innovation awards, including recognition from the National Development and Reform Commission and the Ministry of Science and Technology. These accolades weren't just trophies to put on a shelf, but they were proof that XCMG's commitment to technology was yielding real results. One of the things that has set the company apart is its focus on producing specialized machinery that can handle extreme conditions. Their products aren't designed for the average construction site. They're built to handle the toughest, most challenging projects out there. Whether it's massive cranes, heavy-duty excavators, or precision concrete machinery, XCMG's equipment has become famous for its durability and reliability. Behind all of this success was their early vision to lead the world in construction machinery. Their technological advancements weren't just about selling more equipment. They were about building machines that would last, perform, and ultimately change the face of the construction industry. By investing in technology, partnerships, and research, XCMG laid the groundwork for a future where Chinese machinery would stand side by side with the most respected brands in the world. So, what are your thoughts on XCMG's rise? Let us know in the comments below, and we will see you in the next one.